You ever notice how losing fat feels like it takes forever, but gaining fat happens overnight? Like one pizza turns into an extra 5 pounds of sadness on the scale. Yeah, it's brutal. But here's the thing, most of what you've been told about fat loss is either half true or straight up garbage. So let's cut the BS. No magic detox teas, no 30-day ab challenges, no celebrity endorsed nonsense. Today, I'm giving you 6 real ways to actually lose fat fast without making your life miserable or wasting hours doing things that don't even work. Because let's be honest, you don't want to spend 3 hours meal prepping chicken and broccoli, or doing burpees until you throw up. You want to look better, feel better, and not hate your life while doing it. I've been there. I've tried all the shortcuts and trust me, they don't work. I've been lifting weights for over 13 years, I've bulked, I've cut, I've made every mistake in the book. And the stuff I'm about to share with you is the stuff that actually works. No gimmicks, just practical steps that will make the scale finally move in the right direction. So stick around to the end because I promise by the end of this video, you'll have a simple game plan that you can start today. And if you actually apply these, you'll see changes faster than you probably think. The fastest way to start losing fat isn't cutting carbs, it isn't doing endless cardio, and it isn't buying some overpriced supplement. It's actually way simpler than that. You need to stop drinking your calories. Think about it. Most people don't even realize how much sugar and empty calories they're sipping every single day. One venti caramel latte from Starbucks can have more calories than an entire meal. A healthy smoothie from your favorite juice place, that can easily be 500 to 700 calories. And the sad part is, you'll be hungry again in an hour. Liquid calories are sneaky like that. They go down fast, they don't fill you up, and before you know it, you've wrecked your entire calorie deficit without even realizing it. And no, switching to diet sodas doesn't mean you're free from this trap either. While 0-calorie drinks won't technically break your deficit, they can still trick your body into craving more sugar and carbs later, which leads to more snacking. It's like playing whack-a-mole with your appetite. You knock down one craving and 5 more pop up the next hour. If you really want fat to start coming off quickly, replace those liquid calories with water, black coffee, or even your favorite sparkling water. Not only will you save hundreds of calories a day, but you'll also notice your hunger stabilizes, your energy is better, and you stop crashing in the afternoon. Here's the part that people underestimate. Let's say you cut out one sugary drink per day, like that iced caramel macchiato, which is around 400 calories. That alone could put you down a deficit of almost 3,000 calories per week, which is close to a full pound of fat burned just from not drinking sugar. You didn't starve, you didn't add an hour of cardio, you just swapped your drink. That's how powerful it is. The key is not perfection, it's stacking up these small changes until they snowball into real results. And trust me, cutting liquid calories is the easiest fat loss you'll ever get. Here's the harsh truth. Most people aren't as active as they think. You go to the gym for an hour, crush a workout, and you feel like an athlete. But then you sit at a desk for 8 hours, drive home, sit on a couch, and maybe walk 2,000 steps the entire day. Now 1 hour workout is great, but it's not enough to undo a full day of basically being glued to a chair. And here's the kicker. You probably burn more calories walking than you do lifting weights. Yeah, I said it. Your epic deadlift session is great for strength and muscle, but when it comes to fat loss, steady movement throughout the day is the unsung hero. This is where NEAT comes in. NEAT stands for Non-Exercise Activity Thermogenesis, which is basically a fancy way of saying all the calories you burn from normal daily movement. Stuff like walking, fidgeting, doing chores, even standing instead of sitting. And this is where people either win or lose the fat loss game. Because you can have the best diet plan in the world, but if you only move during your gym time, fat loss is going to crawl. On the flip side, if you bump your daily steps up to 8,000, 10,000 or more, suddenly fat starts melting away without even changing what you eat. Think about it like this. Walking an extra 30 minutes a day could easily burn 150 to 200 calories. Doesn't sound like much, right? But multiply that by 7 days and now you're at 1,400 calories. Basically half a pound of fat. That's just from walking. Add in small choices like taking stairs, parking further away, pacing during phone calls, and suddenly you're creating a massive calorie burn every week without doing a single burpee. Plus, walking actually helps your recovery, reduces stress, and keeps your appetite more stable. It's one of those cheat codes people sleep on because it feels too easy. But that's exactly why it works. Fat loss doesn't have to be some miserable grind. It's about stacking these small wins until they add up big. Carbs get treated like the villain in every fat loss story. Somewhere along the line, people decided bread was the reason they couldn't see their abs. Here's the truth, carbs don't make you fat. Eating too many calories makes you fat. But blaming carbs is easier than facing the reality that you ate 3,000 calories of pizza, wings, and dessert over the weekend. And the wild thing is, when people cut carbs, they do lose weight quickly. But it's not fat, it's mostly water. Carbs store water in your muscles, so when you cut them out, you drop a few pounds almost instantly. Then you feel like a superhero for a week, until you inevitably binge on bread and gain it all back overnight. Sound familiar? Now, I'm not saying you should eat unlimited pasta and bagels every day, but carbs are your body's main fuel source. If you train hard, your body actually needs them. Try working out on zero carbs and you'll feel like you're moving through quicksand. The key is balance. Instead of demonizing carbs, use them strategically. Eat them around your workouts when your body will actually use that energy. Stick to whole food sources, rice, potatoes, oats, fruits, things that keep you full and fueled instead of spiking your blood sugar and leaving you hungry an hour later. You don't need to be terrified of bread, but you probably don't need 4 slices with dinner either. Here's the part that most people miss. If you cut carbs too hard, your metabolism slows down, your energy tanks and your cravings go through the roof. That's why extremely low carb diets almost always fail. You white knuckle it for a few weeks, then cave and rebound harder than ever. Instead, keep carbs in your diet, just manage the portions. If fat loss is the goal, protein should be high, fats moderate, and carbs adjusted to your activity level. That way, you still lose fat, but you don't feel like you're starving or dragging through every workout. And let's be honest, life without carbs isn't a life worth living. If you want to lose fat quickly without feeling like you're starving to death, protein is the secret weapon. Most people think fat loss is all about cutting things out, but really, it's about eating more of the right stuff. And protein is king. Not only does it keep you full for way longer than carbs or fat, but it also helps preserve muscle while you're losing fat. That's a big deal, because the last thing you want is to lose weight and end up looking like a smaller, weaker version of yourself. That's what happens when people diet without enough protein. They burn fat, but they also burn muscle, and then they wonder why they still don't like how they look. Here's the wild part. Protein actually burns calories just to digest. It's called the thermic effect of food. Your body has to work harder to break down protein than it does carbs or fat. So, not only are you staying full and protecting your muscle, but you're literally burning more calories just by eating it. Talk about a win-win. Aim for at least 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Chicken, fish, beef, eggs, Greek yogurt, protein powder, they all count. Don't overthink it, just make sure protein is the centerpiece of every meal. And let's be real, protein isn't just about being jacked. It's the single biggest factor that makes a fat loss diet sustainable. Ever notice that when you eat a high protein meal like steak and veggies, you're satisfied for hours? But when you eat a giant bowl of cereal, you're hungry again in 45 minutes. That's why protein is a game changer. It kills cravings, it keeps your metabolism firing, and it helps your body hold on to muscle you worked so hard for in the gym. If you're serious about fat loss, you can't afford to treat protein like an afterthought. It needs to be the star of the show. You can eat perfectly, train hard, or even walk 15,000 steps a day. But if you're only sleeping 5 hours a night, good luck losing fat. Sleep is the most underrated fat loss tool out there. When you don't get enough sleep, 2 things happen that seriously crush your progress. First, your hunger hormones go crazy. Ghrelin, the hormone that makes you hungry, shoots up, while leptin, the hormone that tells you you're full, tanks. Translation? You're way hungrier than usual and it feels like you never got full. That's why after a bad night's sleep, suddenly a box of donuts feels like a reasonable breakfast choice. The second problem is recovery. When you're sleep deprived, your body holds on to fat more stubbornly, and your workouts feel 10 times harder. You're weaker, slower, and your motivation tanks. And let's be real, when you're exhausted, the last thing you want to do is meal prep or hit the gym. You're way more likely to grab fast food, skip the workout, and tell yourself, I'll start again tomorrow. Before you know it, one bad night of sleep spirals into a whole week of bad decisions. The fix is simple, but not easy. Prioritize 7 to 9 hours of sleep like it's a part of your training plan. That means going to bed at a consistent time, keeping your room dark and cool, and putting your phone away before you end up doom scrolling until 2 a.m. And no, 4 hours of sleep plus caffeine is not a strategy. It's a slow motion disaster. When you start sleeping properly, you'll notice fat loss feels way easier. Your hunger is under control, your workouts feel better, and your body finally gets a chance to recover and burn fat efficiently. Sleep isn't optional, it's one of the most powerful tools you have for fat loss, and most people ignore it. Here's the thing that nobody wants to hear. Fat loss isn't about being perfect, it's about being consistent. The people who get the best results aren't the ones who track every single gram of rice or who never eat a cookie again. They're the ones who hit their plans 80 to 90% of the time and don't fall off the wagon when life happens. Let's be real, life will happen. You're going to have birthdays, holidays, nights out, and days when you just don't feel like it. And that's okay. One bad meal won't ruin your progress. One good meal won't fix it either. What matters is the trend over weeks and months. Here's where most people go wrong. They think that if they mess up once, the whole day is ruined. So they turn one slice of pizza into an entire box, followed by ice cream, and then they quit for a week. That's like getting a flat tire and slashing the other 3 on purpose. Don't do that. If you slip up, just get back on track the very next meal. That's how you actually lose fat and keep it off. Not by chasing perfection, but by building habits you can stick to for a long run. And honestly, that's the unsexy secret behind every transformation you'll ever see. Not a magic pill, not a 30-day cleanse, just showing up day after day and stacking those small wins until they add up to something big. Consistency is boring, but it's undefeated. If you can accept that and stop chasing perfection, fat loss suddenly becomes way less stressful and way more doable. If this video helped you, do me a favor and hit that like button so YouTube knows I'm not just yelling into the void about chicken and protein shakes. And if you're serious about reaching your fitness goals, check out my other videos because I've already wasted years making mistakes so you don't have to. Subscribe, stick around, and let's actually get results together.